I bet you didn't know how deep corporate deception can go. You need to hear this if you're a healthcare professional. The year was 2003. The Enron scandal was still fresh. Then another bombshell hit. HealthSouth, a giant in healthcare, was a house of cards. This wasn't just about numbers, it was about betraying trust. A company entrusted with well-being chose deception, leading to its downfall. The HealthSouth scandal is a stark reminder of the allure of quick riches. I don't think people understand just how quickly HealthSouth rose to prominence. In the bustling healthcare landscape of the 1980s, a new player emerged. Founded in 1984 by Richard Scrutiny, HealthSouth started as a small outpatient physical therapy clinic. Scrutiny had grander visions, fueling HealthSouth's aggressive expansion strategy. They transformed into a sprawling network of inpatient rehabilitation facilities. Investors were enamored by HealthSouth's rapid growth and Scrutiny's enthusiasm. Little did anyone know, a darker truth was festering beneath the surface. I think you didn't know how deep the rabbit hole goes when it comes to corporate fraud. As HealthSouth's empire grew, so did the pressure to maintain its stellar financial performance. Wall Street's expectations were insatiable, and Scrutiny, obsessed with maintaining his image and wealth, allegedly orchestrated a scheme of breathtaking audacity. The fraud, as it unfolded, was as simple as it was audacious. It began with small adjustments, rounding up earnings to meet analyst expectations. However, these minor discrepancies soon spiraled into a full-blown accounting fraud, with executives under Scrutiny's alleged direction systematically manipulating the company's financial statements. They inflated revenues, recording phantom sales and exaggerating the value of assets. They understated expenses, concealing liabilities and creating a fictitious picture of financial health. The fraud was pervasive, permeating every level of the organization. Employees, fearing for their jobs, were allegedly coerced into complying with the scheme. Auditors were misled, fed a steady diet of fabricated documents and outright lies. The company's board of directors, seemingly blinded by Scrutiny's charisma and the company's apparent success, failed to detect or chose to ignore the warning signs. I bet you didn't know how deep the deception at HealthSouth went. Despite the elaborate web of deception, cracks began to appear in HealthSouth's carefully constructed facade. Whispers of accounting irregularities began to circulate among industry insiders. Analysts, scrutinizing the company's financial statements, noticed inconsistencies and raised questions about the sustainability of HealthSouth's growth. One analyst in particular became suspicious. Aaron Beam, a former CFO of HealthSouth, had been involved in the early stages of the fraud. However, plagued by guilt and fearing for his own future, Beam decided to cooperate with the authorities. His testimony would prove crucial in unraveling the elaborate scheme and exposing the truth about HealthSouth's fraudulent practices. As scrutiny intensified, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, launched a formal investigation into HealthSouth's accounting practices. The company's stock price, which had been steadily climbing for years, began to plummet, wiping out billions of dollars in market value and leaving investors stunned and betrayed. The once lauded darling of Wall Street was now teetering, on the brink of collapse. Section 5. The walls close in, unraveling the web of lies. Are you shocked to discover the extent of corporate deceit? With the SEC investigation underway, the pressure on HealthSouth and its executives mounted. The company's carefully constructed web of lies began to unravel thread by thread. Scrutiny, in a desperate attempt to deflect blame and salvage his reputation, maintained his innocence, pointing fingers at his underlings and claiming ignorance of the fraud. However, the evidence against Scrutiny and his co-conspirators was overwhelming. The FBI raided HealthSouth's headquarters, seizing documents and computer files that would later serve as damning evidence in court. Prosecutors, armed with insider testimony and a mountain of incriminating financial records, began to build their case. The HealthSouth scandal sent shockwaves through the healthcare industry and beyond. It was a stark reminder that even in an industry built on trust and care, corporate greed could corrupt the most well-intentioned endeavors. The company, once a symbol of success and innovation, became synonymous with fraud and deceit. Section 6. The Whistleblower, Courage Under Fire. I'm sure you have heard the news. At the heart of the HealthSouth scandal was a courageous individual who risked everything to expose the truth. Weston Smith, a former assistant controller at HealthSouth, became increasingly troubled by the fraudulent accounting practices he witnessed. Driven by a sense of ethics and a desire to protect investors, Smith decided to blow the whistle. Smith understood the risks involved in challenging a powerful and well-connected CEO like Scrutiny. He knew that speaking out could cost him his job, his reputation, and potentially even his safety. Yet he refused to be complicit in the fraud. He contacted the FBI and provided them with crucial information about the accounting irregularities at HealthSouth. Smith's decision to come forward proved pivotal in unraveling the HealthSouth fraud. His testimony, along with the evidence he provided, gave investigators the ammunition they needed to build a case against Scrutiny and his co-conspirators. Smith's actions serve as a testament to the importance of whistleblowers in holding corporations accountable and protecting the public interest. Am I the only one that didn't know about the massive accounting fraud at HealthSouth? The reckoning scrutiny, investigations, and arrests. As the investigation gained momentum, the walls closed in on Richard Scrutiny and his inner circle. The SEC filed civil charges against HealthSouth and its top executives, accusing them of perpetrating a massive accounting fraud. The Department of Justice launched a criminal investigation determined to hold those responsible accountable for their actions. In March 2003, Scrutiny was indicted on 85 counts of fraud, conspiracy, money laundering, and obstruction of justice. The indictment painted a damning picture of Scrutiny as the mastermind behind the fraud, alleging that he had personally profited from the scheme to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. The HealthSouth trial became one of the most closely watched white-collar crime cases in American history. It was a test of the government's ability to hold powerful corporate executives accountable for their actions, especially in the wake of the Enron and WorldCom scandals. The trial also highlighted the devastating consequences of corporate fraud, not just for investors, but also for employees, patients, and the public's trust in the healthcare system. If you're a follower of corporate scandals, then you need to hear this. Section 8. Justice served, the fallout and legal battles. The HealthSouth trial was a roller coaster of emotions with dramatic courtroom showdowns and unexpected twists and turns. Scrutiny, known for his charisma and flamboyance, mounted a vigorous defense, maintaining his innocence and portraying himself as a victim of rogue subordinates. However, the weight of the evidence proved too much to overcome. In 2005, a jury acquitted Scrutiny on all charges, delivering a stunning blow to the government's case. The verdict was met with shock and disbelief by many who had followed the trial closely. Despite his acquittal on the federal charges, Scrutiny's legal troubles were far from over. He faced a shareholder lawsuit, which resulted in a $2.9 billion judgment against him. He was also convicted in a separate trial on charges of bribery and conspiracy related to his time as CEO of HealthSouth. Section 9. If you're an investor, then you need to understand these regulatory reforms. The HealthSouth scandal, along with other high-profile corporate scandals of the early 2000s, exposed serious weaknesses in corporate governance and financial reporting. In response to these scandals, Congress passed the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, landmark legislation aimed at restoring investor confidence and preventing future accounting frauds. SOX introduced sweeping reforms, including stricter accounting rules, increased auditor independence, and enhanced corporate governance requirements. The law also created the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board to oversee the audits of public companies and protect investors. The HealthSouth scandal served as a stark reminder of the importance of strong corporate governance, ethical leadership, and a culture of compliance. It highlighted the need for boards of directors to be more proactive in their oversight of management and for auditors to be more skeptical and independent in their assessments of financial statements. If you're a business leader, then you need to understand the lessons from the HealthSouth scandal. Chapter 10. Lessons learned and the future of corporate integrity. The HealthSouth scandal left an indelible mark on the healthcare industry and the world of business. It serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition, the importance of ethical leadership, and the devastating consequences of corporate fraud. The scandal also highlighted the crucial role that whistleblowers play in exposing corporate wrongdoing. Weston Smith's courage in coming forward, despite the personal risks involved, was instrumental in bringing the HealthSouth fraud to light. The HealthSouth scandal serves as a stark reminder that the pursuit of profit must never come at the expense of ethical behavior and the public trust. It is a lesson that all businesses, regardless of size or industry, must take to heart. Chapter 11. A stark reminder in the never-ending battle for transparency. The HealthSouth saga stands as a chilling testament to the human capacity for deceit. It underscores the fragility of trust in a system where corporate greed can eclipse ethics. Vigilance is the eternal price of integrity. Corporate scandals are not just about numbers, they affect real people. The story urges us to demand better from corporations and regulators. The fight for transparency and accountability is ongoing. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more insightful content. See you in the next video.